we're going to focus a bit of time in the custom investments area of clarity, which is where most of these component parts would be put together. So you'll see at the top here, I have kind of some strategic components all grouped up here. But what I've also done is tried to make this a very slick kind of end-to-end process. So I've actually incorporated everything into one place. But it does use, and again, I'll recap this at the end, kind of what the build looked like for this. It does use different custom investments all grouped together. It's not just all in one single place in order to build the view, then the lens that we're going to go through today. So if we start at the top of that pyramid, the first thing we want to do is go in and have a top box, right? That top, what is my strategy? In this case, I've just labeled it my 2030 vision. You could call it whatever you like. You may have different of these. You may have annualized versions of these. I've kept it fairly simple for today, and you'll see me take a bit of artistic license throughout this whole process. Without customers' requirements to deal with, I've kind of just had my idea of how this could go together. So I have my 2030 vision, and that is a custom investment in clarity that I can manage and track and add data to, just like any other. In this case, when I drill into that, I've got a really simple page, right? I can now put in my mission, and I can put in my vision statement that I want to capture, those top sort of two boxes on that pyramid for this fictional organization that we're using in today's example. Now, this could be how a lot of customers start, right? Just a very simple area to capture some of this stuff that we have in text, what we have in documents somewhere, we have on the website maybe, but we just want to capture it in here and start tracking and building upon it. You'll see that I also have something on the right-hand side here, which is a way that I've chosen for today's demo to kind of show the expansion from a very simple starting point to some of the other concepts that we can start to adapt for. So here, if I couple select that I also now want to include my core values, then I can click on that and it will expand this page. Yes, sorry.
Is it possible for you to make this the text a little bit bigger on the screen?
Let me try and zoom in a bit and see if that...
Thank you. That was our first question.
Perfect. Easy one to answer. Happy to.
That's much better, I think.
I'll make it full page, and I zoomed in a bit. Hopefully that is better for you. So I've expanded this to now say, okay, I'd also like to capture my core values. This is showing how we can use the functionality to kind of improve and evolve upon a theme and start to capture additional things. So now we have our mission and our vision. We've also got our strategic values. Now that could be as text, or in a lot of customers, we found it's really cool to incorporate some kind of visual. Most customers would have some kind of pillars diagram, or there's always something really great that marketing have put together to kind of visualize these things as an organization. So we can put that right here, and people can actually see something they recognize from the frameworks and start to kind of interact with that as part of the tooling and clarity as well. And then at the bottom, I've got some questions, just different strategic statements that we might want to put the answers in for and think about the answers for. So you could really build this page out to have any of the things that you want to capture around your wider strategic components, not just the mission and the vision, but actually getting into the core values and beyond. Now, again, with some customers, this has gone one step further, and they'll have spoken to me about different frameworks they may be following, whether that's kind of the balanced scorecard approach, which has been quite common, or the pestle approach, which is focusing more on kind of the external factors. So I chose to kind of represent these again, just by evolving the screen to say, okay, well, if you're taking a balanced scorecard approach in your organization, maybe you ask a few different questions, right? So we've got a section where you can come and fill in some of the different questions that the balanced scorecard would ask you to look into. Again, if you're following the pestle approach, you want to take a look at some of the external impacts, then you can press that and look at some of the political and economic factors that may affect your business. This is all to say that you can really capture anything you want within this single 2030 vision instance to give you all of that background that you probably have already within the business. This is the question that most people said yes to, right? You have some of this. So let's get it in here just so more people see it, and it can provide the starting point for our journey where we're going to go down through some of the other layers from a clarity perspective. You could have everything I've just shown on one single page. Really, I chose to split it up just to evolve the demo slightly. You may not choose to obviously kind of have this drop down driving the layout of the page. If you choose to, great. As you probably all know, you can do it the way I've done it. You can control it by security, or you could have one big page that asks all the questions that you want answers to, all in one place. So we've now set kind of the top 3 layers of that pyramid. We've got our vision, we've got our mission. If I go back to the core values page, we've got the core values being captured within Clarity. Now, again, I've chosen to make these all one customer investment in Clarity. I do have customers that have split this out, and vision is a thing, and mission is a thing underneath, and strategic values are underneath those. And that allows us to capture additional data against each one, stakeholder maps, other kind of things that we might want to do. I kept it fairly simple on this one and just made it one big introduction to the area.